YHWH-Shalom Altar of Reception, we hear your petition regarding the latest prophecy news for the Middle East this day. We turn our hearts to the Scriptures to discern what light may be shed upon the unfolding events in Israel. Let us begin with the central truth that sustains us through these times. Only fear Yahweh and serve Him in covenant truth with all your heart, for consider how many great things He has done for you. This is the first place where our gaze must settle. It is a reminder that while nations tremble and economic sanctions rise, the heart of the true believer finds its anchor. We turn now to observe the horizon of this day. The mathematical verdict from the drawn text gives us a lean yes, indicating a probable affirmative pattern within these readings. We see that all gates pass in this computation, suggesting that the drawn verses hold a correspondence with the events we observe, even if that correspondence is not immediately causal. Let us walk through the matters presented before us as one flowing testimony. The morning brings news of severe economic pressure where nations face consequences over trade relations. This tension echoes the declaration by the National Security Minister regarding terror offenders facing execution under new death penalty legislation, a direct threat aimed at the regime structure rather than its economy alone. Yet, we see this stark leadership stance contrasted when we consider Israel itself faces legal summons for civilian deaths abroad. While these international law battles rage, Scripture teaches us that believers should only fear Yahweh and serve Him faithfully amidst such turmoil. We see a grim parallel between military operations causing loss-of-life incidents today versus ancient judgments described in the Scriptures concerning disinheritance due to covenant breach. Specific events in Gaza, such as the investigation into the killing of Hind Rajab, are tragic echoes of warnings found in Scripture that idolatry leads to exile. This theme is reinforced by prophecy foretelling consumption upon the central lands. Concerning governance structures, specifically regarding foreign forces entering territory, the Prime Minister's office has stated that it does not approve entry of an international force without complete Hamas disarmament. This aligns with biblical injunctions observing statutes instituted after Egyptian slavery, though it lacks explicit mention in the text. However, opposition voices rebuking settlement expansion into the E1 zone find textual resonance, suggesting potential division among the chosen people even outside the promised inheritance boundaries. The economic provisions of the day highlight contrasting realities. We note American funding proposals totaling more than $200 million for a Gaza peacekeeping force, contrasted against local wildcat strikes halting airport arrivals. These tensions reflect the cries of those waiting patiently, as the Scriptures speak of riches gained wickedly profiting nothing but faithfulness delivering. Finally, we observe the military strikes and the warnings issued regarding Turkey and Syria. The text indicates that these events are captured in the readings with some weight, though the draw verdict does not answer what will happen next or verify these specific events. It scores the drawn text against the corpus to see if the day's news is spoken in its own vocabulary. The draw verdict about this day is lean yes. It says that the draw covers the conflict, leadership, and other aspects of the news with a high percentage, but it does not verify the events or answer what will happen next. The draw scores the drawn text against the corpus baselines, and it does not input from the sealed digest. We conclude with this answer to your question: yes, there is probable affirmation in the readings for the Middle East today, with a strong correspondence between the Scripture's witness and the events unfolding in Israel. We stand firm in our fear of Yahweh and our service to Him in covenant truth. The lead verses drawn in this altar of reception session were 1 Samuel chapter 12, verse 24, Exodus chapter 32, verse 8, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 23, Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 25, Luke chapter 11, verse 7, Matthew chapter 15, verse 23. 94 further verses were drawn in this session. This concludes today's interpretation at the altar of reception.